as I think you all know, the UK, in Britain, football is a big deal. Football in the sense of soccer. Football matches, it's almost like a religion in the United Kingdom. People are dedicated fans. They become incredibly passionate. And some football games, you get some violence, and the police are well trained and pretty effective at shutting down the violence. The games get very rowdy, but the rowdiness, for the most part, again, with the exception of when it gets violence, is all done in good fun, as English football fans are rowdy. What can we say? Well, not, I guess, when it comes to Israelis or Jews visiting. It was supposed to be, there was going to be a match between Aston Villa, which is the team locally in Birmingham. Birmingham is the second largest city in the United Kingdom. There's supposed to be a match between Aston Villa and Maccabi Tel Aviv, a Tel Aviv team, as part of, I get, the European Club League, or whatever it's called. The city of Birmingham has decided that Tel Aviv fans will not be permitted to come to the stadium and watch the game. This is a statement by Ayub Khan, who is an MP, member of parliament from Birmingham. He says, "I welcome the Safety Advisory Group's decision," this is the Safety Advisory Group in Birmingham, "to advise that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans will not be permitted to attend Villa Park on the 6th of November. From the moment that the match was announced, it was clear that there were latent safety risks that even our capable security and police authorities would not be able to fully manage. With so much hostility and uncertainty around the match, it was only right to take drastic measures. Sports entertainment events should be enjoyed by all, regardless of their race, ethnicity, and background. But there are rare instances where the political dynamics surrounding such spectacles cannot be ignored, and where drastic action must be taken to ensure the safety of fans, players, staff, and local residents. I'm glad that this reality has been acknowledged in this issue, and I am grateful to the various teams and everybody else for their work to listen to our communities concerned. Now is the time to ease tensions, set aside political differences, and focus on football once more." So the solution to latent problems, I guess, which I guess you would think are caused by the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv. I mean, I think this suggests that the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv were going to come to Birmingham and riot and demonstrate and put everybody at risk. And yeah, I mean, if the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans are that dangerous and that disruptive, then maybe they should be banned for the sake of the safety of Birmingham. But of course, that is not the problem. The problem is not at all the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv. The problem is thugs, Muslim thugs, supposedly, or one supposes, thugs who would hunt down the fans from Tel Aviv. The problem is that the Muslim community in Birmingham is not willing to let fans from Israel come to participate in a soccer game, in a football game. Iqbal Muhammad, another member of parliament in Britain, says, "Thank you to all who put the safety of Aston Villa fans." I mean, Tel Aviv fans were going to beat up the Aston Villa fans. That's why they were coming to the UK, to beat up the opposition fans. Really? "Thank you for putting the safety of Aston Villa fans, Birmingham residents, and the British public above the Zionist and political pressures to let Israeli hooligans and terrorists run riot in our country." I mean, these are members of parliament. These are not just arbitrary people. These are members of the British Parliament. These are lying bastards, lying monsters. Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were not going to come and riot in Birmingham any more than they rioted in Amsterdam last year when primarily Muslim hooligans ran them through the streets and beat them up. And these hooligans, it's been shown and documented, were planning these attacks on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. It wasn't anything that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans said or did. This was planned. It was a Jew hunt. They were hunting Jews in the streets of Amsterdam. That hadn't been done since the 1940s. And now we've got members of parliament, Muslim members of parliament, blaming the victim, blaming the Jew. And the solution is a solution that England knows well from its very, very distant history. And that is the easiest way to have peace, the easiest way to not suffer the consequence of anti-Semitic violence is to get rid of the Jews. I mean, if we just ban the Jews, if we don't let the Jews in, then we won't have any anti-Semitism and we won't have any violence against Jews because there won't be any Jews. I mean, this was the solution in the, 15th century, I think, where Jews were banned from England for 200 years. 200 years, there were no Jews in England. When Shakespeare wrote in the 16th century about Shylock, the Jewish moneylender, he had never met a Jew in his life because there were no Jews in London. So instead of dealing with those who would inflict violence, instead of protecting people coming to celebrate and to enjoy a football game, the solution is to blame the victim and to ban the victim from participating. Yeah, I mean, there'd be no anti-Semitism in the world. There'd be no hatred of Jews in the world if we just got rid of all the Jews. That's the solution. I mean, that's a solution people have been advocating for a very, very, very long time. I'm sure, by the way, that none of this has anything to do with the fact that a Birmingham Islamic preacher, Astar Rashid, has told his followers that the Muslims of Birmingham should show no mercy to the football fans from Tel Aviv. And that as a consequence, the British police has decided they can't protect them. So the British police can no longer protect people inside Britain because they fear the wrath, the violence of Islamists. Now, somebody like this, you could say somebody calling on his followers to show no mercy to the football fans of Tel Aviv, that sounds like incitement to violence to me and a basis by which this person should be arrested. I mean, I know that the British police are very, very busy arresting people for putting up British flags and arresting people for criticizing Muslims and Islam, but actual incitement for violence, nobody cares. The Brits don't care anymore. Another imam in Birmingham is teaching how to stone a woman to death, which is the appropriate, according to Islam, the appropriate punishment for things like adultery and I'm sure many other crimes. But this is Islamism, complete, fully formed, being taught, being preached, being articulated, being incited inside the United Kingdom. And this is what the UK government will do nothing about. Instead, let's just ban the Jews. Don't allow the Jews in. That's a much simpler solution than actually deal with the problem. But the reality is that as long as you don't deal with this problem, it's not just the Jews, it's women, it's Christians, it's everybody who not only will not convert to Islam, but will not follow these bastards' interpretation of that religion. This is a clear enemy from within. I've talked about what needs to be done about this, but this needs to be taken super seriously, and these people need to be, if they're inciting violence, they need to be in jail. If they're advocating for a philosophy, an ideology, and a movement that the United Kingdom should declare it's at war with it, they should all be deported. They should all be gone from there. There shouldn't be a single one of them left. If you cannot resist violence against supporters of an Israeli team, if you're going to engage in that violence, you have no place in the UK. Arrest them, and if they're not citizens, deport them. If they are citizens, throw them in jail for a long time. They'll stop rioting at football if the violence actually results in long sentences. I mean, this is the challenge that the UK faces right now, and really all of Europe faces right now. I mean, the reality is that there are Islamists in the midst of the Islamic communities in all these countries. Now, not all Muslims in these countries are Islamists. Not all Muslims have not been willing to integrate, but some, clearly, and whether it's a minority or majority, I don't know, but some clearly are not integrating into British society and are clearly advocating for a ideology and a philosophy based on their religion that is the exact antithesis, the exact opposite of the basis of Western civilization. And what happens is, this is what happens with multiculturalism, right? Is when you go out there and you point out, in Birmingham, Muslim community in Birmingham, parts of the Muslim community in Birmingham are not well integrated. They are not assimilating into British society. People flip out. You're a racist. How dare you say that? Of course they're assimilating. When you look at demographics and you look at Muslims only live together and non-Muslims live together, and there's no crossing the lines. The government, in this case, chooses to ignore that and accuse the people who are making these claims of being racists and then you get the football. Funnily enough, this banning of Israeli fans from Birmingham is so scandalous that even the Labour Party, even the Prime Minister, is outraged by it. Now, we'll see what he does. Here's what he should do. Here's what a courageous Prime Minister of the UK would do. He would, first of all, reverse this and tell the Birmingham police that he will provide whatever protection needed. We will bring police forces in from other cities or towns, or use the military. This is a good use of military to protect from violence. Second, he should invite in a bunch of his Jewish friends. I'm sure he has some. They all have some, so they can claim that some of my best friends are Jewish. Maybe even invite, one of the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans who was going to come to Birmingham is a former hostage who was released earlier this year by Hamas. She was going to come to see the match. He should invite her to come, and he should go to the game with his Jewish friends and with this former Hamas hostage, and they should all go and watch the game together. That's what a courageous Prime Minister would do. And that would send a message. That would give a signal. This will not be tolerated in the United Kingdom. We will protect people's rights. We will protect them from violence. We will do what the primary job of government is. The primary job of government is to protect us from violence, from force, from coercion, for other people. We will do that. We will live up to our responsibilities. That's what the Prime Minister of England should do. He's condemned the decision by Birmingham, but he hasn't yet taken the next step. He hasn't taken action. And again, inviting a bunch of his Jewish friends and maybe some Israelis and maybe the Israeli ambassador to the UK, maybe they should all go and watch the game together and have the kind of police protection that you would expect when people like that are there. Anyway, this is the problem, though. You can't criticize it while the Prime Minister is criticizing the decision by the West Midlands, this is the Birmingham police. He's also denying the fact that there's no assimilation. He's denying the fact that there's a problem, that there's a Muslim problem in the UK. This is one of the reasons I don't think the Labour Party is going to survive. It's going to be crushed in the next election. The question is going to be, is it going to be the Conservatives, or is it going to be the party whose name I always forget, the more right-wing party, the more anti-immigration party? I hope it's the Conservatives, because I like Kemi, and I would like to see her have a shot at being Prime Minister and see what she can get done. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what the Prime Minister actually does. Let's see what action he takes. By the way, this same Muslim MP defending the ban, Iqbal Muhammad, was also on the Parliament floor, defending cousin marriages as part of his culture, and claiming that, banning cousin marriages. Cousin marriages are very common, it turns out, among particularly the Pakistani Muslim community in England, and not only does it's very clannish, it keeps everything internal to the clan, but it's just unhealthy. It creates lots and lots of health issues. Anyway, he's claiming that banning cousin marriages is Islamophobia. Islamophobia is one of those terms that's really powerful. They throw it at you, and I think the response to Islamophobia should be, yeah, I'm afraid of some Muslims, the radical ones, the Islamist ones, the ones who claim they want to kill me, the ones who want to go, beat up the fans of Tel Aviv. I'm afraid of them. Yeah, and there's good reason to be afraid of some Muslims, those Muslims who take their religion seriously. Good reason to be afraid.